So there was this party at the Army Air Corps, the University RAF, whatever they were called, and I went along. I don't think I'd broken up with my girlfriend, but I was having a tough time, and I got there and it was a subsidised bar. So I didn't know anybody, I was in a foul mood. So I just stood at the bar drinking scotches at 75p a shot and getting wasted. So I don't remember a hell of a lot else. I don't recall talking to anybody much or dancing or anything. Anyway, I do remember deciding to go home. And so I walked out and I went upstairs for a piss. No, actually, now I think about it, I walked out and I thought, I've got to nick something. This is the thing we did at the time. You had to sort of have some kind of trophy of your evening. So I went. Now I got one of those floor-standing ashtrays, and we're talking about 2.5 feet, 3 feet tall, metal, heavy object. About the width of about the size of an oxygen tank for a diver. I shoved this thing into my coat. I'm so pissed, I assume that nobody's noticed that I've got something this big shoved up my coat. Anyway, I went upstairs for a piss and I put it down, and so I thought, well, I went for a piss and I was just finishing my piss. So I've got to do something else. I've got to, this is not enough. This is small fry. So so like those those kind of tea towel hand drying things you get in toilets, and you don't see them very much these days. Anyway, they had a fresh one of those just sitting on the side there, the whole roll, not even in the container, just on its side there. Okay, that's cool. So I grabbed that, I unrolled it into the bin thing. So I had that too. So that was enough. So then I walk out of the party with this thing, which was half the size of me, and said goodnight to everybody as if they didn't know that I had done this. God knows what they must have thought. And I got to the door of the place and I couldn't get the door open because my hands were full trying to hold this thing, and so I turned around to I put it down and turned around, and when I realized, there's a camera. There's like a CCTV camera pointing right at me. And I thought, well, shit, I'm busted, This is in the days before we all realised that no one switches the fucking things on, they just put them there. So anyway, I put the big ashtray thing down, and I went over and then I turned the camera around so it couldn't see me. Thankfully I could reach it. I went back, opened the door, I pick up the ashtray, I shove it in my jacket, out I go. Now at this time, it had snowed heavily a couple of days before, and the snow had been compacted down, so the whole place was just like an ice rink, like a lumpy frozen snow ice rink. And so I'm walking home. I'm absolutely, by this point, I'm so I can't focus. I'm smashed as hell, and I must have fallen over 30, 40, 50 times. People must have been looking at me thinking, what is this guy doing? But I hung on to this huge thing. And I walked, and it's a good mile and a half, down a very steep hill and up another one, and got this thing back to Queen Margaret Drive, and I got in, and I'm pissed, and I looked around. I thought I'd wake up my flatmates, have a couple of drinks, but they were asleep. In fact, I thought they were asleep. I thought they went in. I thought, okay, well, I'll play a trick on them. So in my state that I was in, I pulled out this tea towel hand drying thing, which is incredibly long. It must be 50 feet long, a huge thing. And I tied it to taps and radiators and door handles, and created this web that I thought, there's no fucking way they're getting out of their rooms without crashing into this thing. And so then I went to bed. I don't recall this. This apparently is what my flatmates told me. That around about some point in the middle of the night, they heard a crash. And they both got up and they obviously discovered this crazy thing lying about the flat. Oh, I didn't point out, when I tied it all together, I took the light bulb out of the ceiling so that they couldn't put the light on that, you know, so there's no way they're going to get through this thing. So it's pitch dark, there's this web of material across the whole flat. And they got up and they went through and they switched the light on in the bathroom. And there's me, completely naked, bollock naked, flat, face down, passed out on the bathroom floor, having got up in the night for a piss. And basically, like any stupid fly, walked straight into my own web. I assume to their eternal shame, or my eternal shame, their loss of dignity and knowledge of my genitals, they got me back to bed. And the next thing I know, I wake up to the loudest James Brown music that any hangover could ever deal with. And these two guys just absolutely ripping the piss out of me like no one's business. But I guess I had that coming. I guess I had that one coming.